Alright folks, it's time for another HSS Shootout. This time, there's no Fender. So what do you buy if you don't want to buy from the big F? Let's take a look at the options. Right, hello ladies and gents, welcome back to another shootout video. We haven't done one of these for a little while, and whenever we do, it tends to get a lot of people talking, so I can already feel you brimming on your keyboards for the comment section down below. But before you rush to any judgments today, let's just take a moment to explore the updated options list here. We didn't want to include any Fender guitars today. There's a very specific reason for that. Despite the fact that we are focusing on S-style or Strat-style guitars, a lot of people want alternatives, and there'll always be those people who will just go for the Fender product, and that's perfectly fine. If that's you, you need not watch this video. But maybe you're a little bit more curious and you want to see what other options are out there if you want something from the boutique category that maybe fills your needs a little bit more specifically. So that's exactly what today's shootout is aiming to do. We're going to remove the big F from the equation, and we're going to focus on 4 fantastic boutique guitars that take a little bit of inspiration and DNA from those classic Fender designs, but really show off what each company does best in the form of an HSS S-style guitar. There's a lot of S's, but hopefully that makes sense. Okay, in today's running, we've got the wonderful limited edition Suhr Classic S Metallic. We've also got the very cool metallic finish as well, Music Man Cutlass. We've got one of the tried and true old Peach Guitars favourite Xotic XSC2 guitars. And lastly, we've got the brand new PRS Mark Lettieri signature Fiore. I'm going to show you 3 different specific tones from each guitar. We're going to go for a nice, pristine, clean sound, a little bit of a touch of 80s chorus here and there, but a lot of people use these guitars for their clean capability. That's what S-style guitars are probably best known for. I also want to show you some mid-gain, sort of gritty, bluesy tones as well, which is coming courtesy of a Kingtone Dualist overdrive pedal. And lastly, we're going to go all out, go full 80s, and I wanted to incorporate some higher gain tones to show you some lead sounds, as well as how these guitars have that very nice crisp attack when you play chords under a lot of gain. And all that gain is coming from a Friedman Dirty Shirley overdrive pedal. Okay, let's get into each guitar, and I'll tell you a little bit about why each one is here. Okay, let's start out with guitar number 1 then, and while this is an objective test, I think it's only fair to let you all know that I do have some skin in the game here. I own one of these guitars myself, a Suhr Classic S Metallic, and I think that kind of speaks to where my personal tastes lie. I think this is one of the best guitars that Suhr currently make, or they don't make it anymore, in fact, because this is a limited edition guitar. We're lucky to still be having a few of these pieces left in this, specifically the metallic finish, but the formula remains the same as pretty much all their other classic S-style guitars, apart from a couple of little spec tweaks here on this limited guitar. So you've got the standard Suhr Classic HSS format, but they come loaded with slightly different pickups. This is an SSH, for example, in the bridge, and then you've got a pair of V60 LP single coil pickups. These pickups to me kind of sound like the best balance of all things, because you get a really nice, warm, pretty convincing strattiness out of the single coils, and the bridge humbucker is a little bit darker, a little bit more rounded off, so when you go for the higher gain sounds, it's a little bit smoother, and it doesn't have that brittleness that some other humbucking pickups can have. Other really important touches on this guitar are the gorgeous roasted maple neck, really nice dark rosewood board, big jumbo frets. It's a really comfortable guitar to play, and coupled with Suhr's classic Goto 510 tremolo bridge on this guitar, it's really stable for tuning. It's really comfortable. You can get that nice fluttery stuff happening with the bar. But tonally, I think this is probably, I would say, the most versatile guitar here. Suhr definitely has a sound to it where it's a little bit more muscular. It doesn't quite have that sort of, that pretty glassiness that a lot of old Fenders do, and that's what a lot of people do like out of their S-style guitars. But I think for most people, if you just want a very functional, very practical, and still quite characterful S-style guitar, I do think that Suhr offers the best all-round package. That's just my opinion, but let me know if you agree in the comments below. So something I want to try and put across in this video, which won't come across on the spec lists, which you can find on our website, are the way these things feel. So I've already talked about the tremolo. This guitar has a very comfortable slim C neck profile. It's quite nice and shallow in the back, quite wide on the sides. It's just a very comfortable, easy fit profile. It's a little slimmer than other classic S or classic guitars from Suhr that you may have tried in the past, but not to the point of being like a wizard neck or anything like that. It's still got some heft to it, but it's very easy to navigate, and coupled with the jumbo frets, you get a really nice kind of modern playing experience. But the tones, like I said, still having that very much vintage voiced single coil set, really affords you a lot of kind of the best of all worlds. It plays really nice and modern, but it sounds vintage when you want it to. Okay, so guitar number 2 is from our friends at Music Man. This is the Cutlass HSS. This is a guitar actually that every time we featured one in a shootout video before, everyone seems to really fixate on this guitar, and I can understand why. The Music Man family of instruments have a very specific brand sound. A lot of people either really like that, you like that sort of higher fidelity thing that they have going on, or you don't really like it. But what I will say about the Cutlass is that they managed to fuse it together. So Music Man guitars have this nice sort of sheen in the top end frequencies. It's very, very crisp and clear, especially if you're on the in-between positions and you want to go for some funky cleans or some really nice shimmery cleans with chorus. But at the same time, you're going to hear in the mid-gain sort of overdrive pedal sounds that this guitar really comes alive for some bluesier tones. It's got some nice grit to it. Same thing going on here with a roasted maple neck and a nice dark rosewood board. So it's a nice sort of fat sounding neck, if that makes any sense. It really translates to the tone of the instrument. A lot of that comes from the neck. Music Man's famously have quite a skinny neck. It's quite a slim profile. It takes a minute to adjust. But when you do, you can really lay into this. I think this comes from the factory with slightly lighter gauge strings than the other guitars here today. I think these feel like 9s or 9 to 46, but that really allows you to kind of connect with the guitar in a different way. It's a little bit more of a dynamic kind of an instrument. It's not that same blunt hammer that the Suhr can be. It has a little bit more delicacy to it, while still being able to push into a much hotter, much more muscular territory with this bridge humbucker. These are Music Man's own proprietary pickup set. They work very, very well. They're really balanced from each setting to the next. These guitars do come with a little active preamp, which doesn't really color the tone, but it does help you match the levels of the pickups, among other things, and including, like, if you've got long cable runs, very practical guitar to retain the top end. So it's another kind of go anywhere, catch all instrument that does a bit of everything. But if you're familiar with Music Man and you like the way they feel, I would say the feel is the most important thing with these guitars. This neck is very unique. It's very comfortable. It just takes a moment to get used to. And if you do settle into this kind of family of the way these instruments feel, you're going to be very happy if you want a do-it-all instrument with Music Man on the headstock. Okay, so guitar number 3 is truly an old friend. If you've seen any of our videos in the past, chances are you will have seen at least one featuring an exotic guitar of some sort. And there's a very good reason for that. Number 1, we happen to be the UK exclusive stockist. That's always worth pointing out. Number 2, these guitars just literally do anything that you want them to do regardless of the task. So if you have the right application for them, they just seem to respond and meld with any kind of guitar tone, any kind of guitar playing approach. They just really work. I mean, maybe that's kind of a subjective thing to say, but I've never struggled to get good tones out of an Xotic. Whether it be this XSC2, guys, of this guitar, with the 2 denoting the fact it's got a humbucker, or the XSC1 with 3 single coils, whichever one it is, these guitars will get you closest to that Fender tonal sensibility and feel. That's just the way that they design these things. There's not really many frills to an Xotic. It just takes that old formula and just puts in a couple of really nice player-centric features that everybody loves, like locking tuners, bigger frets. The roasted maple necks are a mainstay on all Xotic guitars. Really nice choice of rosewood or maple boards. And the pickup set, these are Xotic's own RV series pickups. So RV50s have a little bit more of that glassy scooped quality, RV60s have a little bit more of the mid-push that you expect from 60s era Fender instruments. But I will say, if you want that kind of tone and you don't, for whatever reason, want a Fender, this will get you in the ballpark the best, I would say. So a couple of other things about Xotic are that they just keep things really simple, like I said, so you kind of know exactly what you're going to get from guitar to guitar. And it can be said of all these guitars in the running today, but consistency is a really important thing. You don't always get that guarantee when you go for a Fender instrument or a custom shop instrument, whereas with any of these brands, the consistency from each guitar to the next is really, really important, and they all have it. So that just means that you can literally pick your favorite by the aesthetic or the weight or whatever it is that you want. They generally all have the same kind of tone, and in the case of this Xotic, it is a little bit more vintage. It doesn't quite have the same modern, pristine sheen that the Music Man has. It doesn't also have the same muscle that the Suhr has, but what it does have is that vintage character. So if you like that extra little level of dynamic response, you like that glassiness and a clean sound, or if you like that mid-gain kind of gritty, bluesy push, I think the Xotic probably excels at that. A little bit better than the others. That is just my take on it, but I think that if that's where you're coming from, you're probably going to the tones of this guitar are probably going to appeal to you the most. But let me know in the comments whether that's true. Okay, so the last guitar of today's running is basically the reason we're doing this video. With the release of or should I say the arrival of the new PRS Mark Lettieri Fiore signature guitar. Yeah. This one is kind of the reason that this video was happening, because we wanted to see how this guitar would fare against its other boutique HSS counterparts. Now, it's not necessarily fair to say that this is an S-style guitar, because although it shares a lot of those characteristics, this is very much a PRS design. The way the neck feels, the way the body looks and feels. If you take a moment and actually look at it closely, it doesn't necessarily specifically resemble an S-style guitar. There's touches of PRS's history in there as well as S-style history. So it's a little bit of a hodgepodge in a really nice way. If you want more in-depth information about this guitar, you can check out the recent in-depth focus that we did on this guitar. But I will say that in comparison to these other instruments, it does very much hold its own. It's a little bit of a different thing. It has a little bit of a smoother voicing. In fact, it's kind of a little bit of an amalgamation of everything that preceded it. So it's got the muscle and the heft of the Suhr, and that's kind of courtesy of these proprietary Fiore single coil and humbucking pickups that were designed exactly for this guitar. It also has a little bit of the high fidelity nature that the Music Man has, as well as being a little bit more tonally versatile with a couple of push-pull switches down here for different voicings and series parallel options and things like this. And then lastly, it tackles in a little bit of that exotic nature of just being a really simple design, no frills. For example, this is the only guitar that doesn't have a roasted maple neck. As you can see, it's pure, very white maple, which I actually really like on this guitar. It's very, very smooth. All of these guitars have very comfortable neck profiles and neck finishes. So this feels very similar, I would say, to the kind of sculpted, rounded edges of the Music Man neck, but it has a little bit more chunk and weight in the back of it. So it's a little bit of everything once again. If you are familiar with PRS guitars, you'll feel at home on this neck. If you're not familiar with PRS guitars, or you've never liked them in the past, this could be the turning point for you, because it does have a little bit more of a classic S-style sensibility in the way that it feels. So this guitar is the newest of the bunch. It's also probably the most versatile of the bunch, with those extra configurations available with the electronics. And it's certainly the most different of the bunch as well. So that is either going to tick your boxes or it's not. But a Fender, this ain't. So if you're looking for a direct comparison with a Fender, but you want something as far away from that traditional kind of camp as possible, I think this is that guitar. It still has respect for where those designs came from, but with the collaboration between Mark and PRS, they've managed to make an instrument that pays tribute to that, but really appeals to the modern player at the same time.
Thank you.
Right folks, there we are. What did you think of those tonal clips? Hopefully I'll have put across a little bit that they all do have their own identity, and as is always the case with these shootout videos, there's bound to be at least one that stands out to you. So I would like to know in the comments down below which of the guitars did that for you. Was it the Suhr, was it the Music Man, was it the Xotic, or was it the brand new PRS Fiore? If you would like to find out any more information about any of these 4 guitars or any of the other fantastic guitars and stock that we carry, you can find out everything you want to know by clicking the link down in the description below and heading to our website peachguitars.com. Be sure to leave a like down below if you've enjoyed this video today, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified whenever we put out new content. So what do you think? Are these boutique alternatives for you, or are you still a fan of the Fender? Let us know whether you think the Fender stacks up against any of these, or the other way around I suppose it would be, but you know, what would your preference be? Would you still go Fender, or are you tempted by any of these wonderful alternatives? So that's all. Thank you very much for watching folks, take very good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.